All right, so this morning I'm going to be listening to another Matthew Lee Knowles piano piece from 2008, 2009-ish, called Caged, Disturbed Mind. Caged, colon, Disturbed Mind. And this piece I think has a performance by Carson Kuhlman, who uh, if you're not subscribed to his YouTube channel, you should be. He plays a lot of Matthew Lee Knowles, but also John Cage. He has a playlist of contemporary piano repertoire that's like 400 videos, right? So lots of uploads are just organ and piano music performed by himself. He also composes a lot. If you ever go on his website, he has like hundreds of pieces, mostly organ music. Anyways, he recorded this piece about 4 years ago, and we're gonna have a listen. I think it's nice to see what the score looks like, especially with Matthew's music. I think I'm finding that the visual aspect is almost as important as the way the piece sounds. So with this particular piece, it's all either whole notes or grace notes tied to whole notes, and every phrase ends with a square fermata. The last phrase is just um, A octaves repeated over and over and over again. And I think every phrase has the same number of chords. Yeah, occasionally you get these chords where both hands play them and then the left hand leaps up to get a top note. So yeah, I'll let you know what I think about this one. It's actually quite long, so even though there's no tempo indication, I guess it's just being taken very slowly. And I'll see you in 10 minutes. Linked in the video description. Okay, so with this one, I actually think I kind of cracked the code here of how the composer Matthew went about doing it. So the last line, there's just A's. Then the penultimate line, there's just A's and B's, right? And then we have A's, B's, and C's. A's, B's, C's, and D's. Then A's, B's, C's, D's, E's. Add the F's, and then add the G's, right? So you have the whole collection of white keys for the first line down to the A for the last line. And as for like how the chords were chosen, I would guess that it was some sort of chance operation, like you roll one dice or one die to get the number of notes in the chord, right? And then you roll another die to like select the pitches or something. And then obviously the number of notes that can be in your chord are limited by the number of white notes that span from A2 to A or to I guess the highest note is like E5 or something. But you can get the G, so up to G5, right? So it's this narrow little area. So you can think of like each white note as like you could think of each pitch class as sort of a group of three notes, right? In spanning two octaves. So the G's only go as low as the G4, the A's go as low as the A2, which is the lowest note in the piece. Um, so you get a lot of these crunchy chords and sonorities and interesting voice leading things happen in the initial phrases. But as the piece progresses, you kind of realize like, oh, this is random. It's not, as you constrain the notes that are chosen, it's like becomes less like it just starts to sound like one chord, and then it sounds like an octave. So um, maybe that is the cage, you know, in question. Anyways, I mean, there's been a lot of pieces like this of Matthews where once I start listening to it, I start to understand very clearly what he did as a composer, and it's almost like they're almost like little puzzles. Um, and I guess that's part of the fun, you know. It's a composer's type of music. What is interesting, I'm just noticing, is you do have low Fs in the first phrase, but every subsequent phrase, the A is the lowest. So I guess he made an exception to the rule there. He wanted to start with the low F. Um, but yeah, so that's Caged Disturbed Mind. I think I have one more piece tomorrow, and then I have Monday off, and I'm gonna use that day to listen to For Alan Turing. So that's the plan. And then I think we have a few more Matthew Lee Knowles pieces, but we're nearing the end as we get into the early 2000s. There are less and less scores with recordings. So, yeah, that's that.